everybody, this is Paulo with Paulo Tech. Thank you for checking out the channel today. Today I wanted to talk to you kind of about some things that I've just been doing while learning my desktop more. I think that working with a window manager has been a rather enlightening process for me. And the reason for that is it's really forced me to learn a bunch of things that are happening in a desktop and how those sort of things kind of come about. In particular, one of the things that desktops do is they have a nice file manager. And that file manager, you're going to be able to browse files and stuff. It's going to use MIME types to know what program to use to open a file with. It does a bunch of little things that are pretty nice. These features are pretty excellent, and when you want those features in your window manager, you have to then make sure the right packages are installed. For example, for PCman or Thunar or whatever file manager you're using, if you want thumbnails of pictures, videos, if you want a preview of a PDF, you need to have the right files installed to do that. And that's just one example. Another example is the default application, and actually this one I haven't solved yet. And that is, for example, when I have a program and I tell it, for example, like an IDE, and I tell it open a file. It seems to be using Nemo, which is fine. I have the cinnamon spin, so Nemo is definitely there. But it seems to be using Nemo instead of PCman. And I haven't quite figured out why that is happening yet. And that's one of those things that I'm trying to solve currently. But this kind of, the reason I wanted to talk about this is this led me down another path where I started reading a lot more. So one of the goals of this whole channel is to dive into the internals of Linux and really get my hands dirty and understand Linux and operating systems better. And sort of all this reading and learning and doing I've been doing, I find myself going now to look at LFS, Linux from scratch. And I think that's going to be my next major project, where I'm really going to go down that rabbit hole of doing Linux from scratch. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean my system will be running that. One of the main reasons that they say to run Linux from scratch is because it'll be more secure because you're the person in charge of patching files. While I'd like to know how to do that, I don't think I really want to do that all the time for everything, and I'm very unlikely to sit down and actually read source code for a lot of stuff. If that's your thing, great. But I think that there's just so much learning and just knowledge to be gained from going through the whole process of doing that Linux from scratch system. And you get some small piece of it if you install Arch. You get some maybe a little bit bigger piece of it if you install Gentoo. But I don't think there's anything that can really capture what goes into building a Linux system like that Linux from scratch process. So that's going to be my next major project. I'm really looking forward to it. I've been reading the documentation. I've been looking at how I'm going to do this, because I'm certainly not going to sit down and completely wipe my hard drive. I could, I suppose, format part of my hard drive and give some small part of my hard drive to that Linux from scratch system, just as a proof of concept to get it up and off the ground. And of course, if I decided, yeah, I really want to do this, but I don't think that that's very likely. I might have mentioned I recently installed Gen 2 on my laptop over here to the right, and I quickly replaced it with Garuda because as it was building from source, I don't know, I just kind of felt pretty negative about the whole thing. I was like, I really don't want to do this. So I'm not looking to turn my system, my LFS system, into a daily driver, but I do think it's a very important tinkering tool for learning a lot more about how Linux works internally. So that's my goal. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'll probably start a series on that. I'll probably start as I get going here tomorrow. We'll dive into that LFS and we'll get started with the process. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.